What is up, y'all? So in this one, we got a little interesting little series kind of going on. There's a couple of reasons I'm making this video. First off, a lot of people do downplay the 1.x cast. I mean, honestly, majority of them, have kind of just been left out of the picture at this point. There's also like I just love Chang Li, so here Glaze Chang Li, of course. But anyways. The 1.x cast, they're definitely hated, and it's like, obviously, Wuthering Waves didn't really know what they wanted to do with this set of characters, it seems like, to the full extent, because you have your supports, like your traditional sub-DPSs, like, Zheji, my mouse, Zheji, we have, like, Yinlin, these two specifically, they just didn't know what they wanted to give them, I guess. Yinlin is a support for a unit that wants to quick swap because he has long animations. He's not like a hyper carry type of unit, right? And he has free, so I guess that's how they bounce him out. Like, as a hyper carry, he's not as good. The thing is, Yao is kind of good now, so he's solid now. He's not kind of good. Well, I guess he's good. I guess you could say good. It depends on your, like, it's subjective, right? Good to a lot of people, like, oh wow, I only care about the top 3 meta teams with an Omega Sweat quick swap, or I only care about the top 3 top 5, 1, 2, 3 teams where I don't have to try and I can still do really good. Or I only care about, teams that can clear. To me, that's not it, right? Good is like, is more of like clear very comfortably, you know what I'm saying? Which Ying Liao with, a certain partner definitely can. I want to do it in order, right? We're going to start with, that's why I've ordered it like this because, this is the order of releases, right? If I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong somewhere. I'm hoping I'm not. I guess Rover, where it would be at the start. So to start things off, we have Rover, right? And Rover has a couple of things, right? We have Havoc Rover with Sanhua and Shorekeeper, like Sanhua / Donjin. Or even Rosia actually. Rosia Rover is pretty solid. And then we have like Frolova Rover with the healer 3rd slot. We have the Frazzle Applier Rover with, Zani and Phoebe. Then we also have the Arrow Rover, which has a weapon that is like, kind of makes them universally like an arrow buffer, which, they're mid there, so I'm not even going to really, include it. And then we have, the Arrow Rover with Cardathea, which obviously is much better, like, than just using them as traditional arrow buffer, right? And I think I'm going to throw them in A tier, honestly. Yeah, I think I'm going to throw them in A tier because they have so many teams right now. Rover in this game is treated extremely good. It's kind of surprising, you know what I'm saying? Me, coming from like an ex-Genshin player, the Traveler at first was a solid, I'm not even going to go too much into this, but at first was like a solid set holder. They were the set holder. That's what they were. Essentially, that's all they were, right? And now they actually have a purpose, in Wuthering Waves where they're actually contributing as a character rather than just being a set holder, you know what I'm saying? I guess Arrow Rover's a weapon holder, but they also do decent enough damage, and then they also increase the stat cap, and the weapon is also like part of their kit, you know what I'm saying? Plus they hold a set, right? So it's like, I wouldn't do that, you know what I'm saying? I would definitely say, they contribute more than just, just a set or just a weapon. And their weapon is a part of their kit. And it's given to free, so, like, come on now. Rover doing really good. Top meta, honestly, in certain comps, you know what I'm saying? Top meta with Zani, top meta enough with Cardathea. And then, as a DPS with, like, Frolova, is actually pretty solid. More like a dual DPS there, but as a hyper carry, they're decent enough. They're definitely good enough to clear, even with Sanhua, right? Now, with Rosia, it's much more comfortable, I think. Or with Lene, Mornier is like a wheelchair. But, they do have those like low cost type of teams you can work with. And that's going to be it for Rover, I think. They've aged pretty good. I don't know if I'm missing out on anything, but they've aged really dang good. Even better than a lot of these 5 stars here. Yeah, a lot of these 5 stars. It's kind of crazy, right? It's the main character is given to you for free, and they've aged better than like their counterpart. But anyway, Jian. I'm also gonna throw Jian. I think I might throw Jian. We're gonna throw Jian in A tier. And the reason being, obviously, he's not as versatile as the Rover. But he is a main damage dealer, so that's kind of just happens to him, right? They're just not as versatile. But Jian does fit in a couple of teams. He has like Frolova, just like Rover, right? But, you know, doesn't work as good there as Rover does. But he has Frolova. He has his own hyper carry teams with Mortifi, which actually do really good. You know, if you can play Gian well. And then also with Gian Shikona, Gian Uno as a team as well. You could either do third slot healer, or you could do Shikona third slot, or Uno, like, you know, Shikona, Uno, Gian, Shikona / Uno, and a healer. Think I'm getting all of them right there, huh? Yeah, I think I'm getting them as main teams. Definitely pretty solid units still. Gian, I gotta be honest. I did start in 1.0, and I did not think Gian was gonna last long at all. You know what I'm saying? But as a DPS, he has stood his ground, especially for being a 1.x tier, the first release of the game, right? He's definitely not above Rover, I'd say, but he's you know, on Rover's cheeks. You know what I'm saying? There's a few criteria that we have. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously we have the power level, but then we also have like the versatility. And then we also have, like, you know, let's say how hard they are to play. Kind of plays a role, but not really for me. So in my list, we're not really going off of that. Even though I don't think anybody here is actually hard to play. They're pretty straightforward units in their respective teams. Now, if you want to do something crazy like Gian and Cardathea and like Shikona, then you have something that's hard to play because you made it hard to play, right? I mean, come on. Like, obviously that can work out, but... Or like dual DPS with anything. Anything dual DPS is going to naturally be harder to play because the devs didn't intend you to play that team. So you kind of have to cook things up yourself a lot harder. I mean, yeah, I think we might have to go D tier. I'm not necessarily a Yinlin hater, but I just think that she's so far from the other ones. Like, you could argue C tier. She has Yao hyper carry. She has Calcharo hyper carry. She has Augusta hyper carry. And, like, you know, hyper carry, I guess she's just bad there. She's, like, never the best option whatsoever. Like, not even close. Lene kind of just gapped the crap out of, you know, Yinlin for, like, their, the Electro hyper carries. Like, Yao just does leagues better with, Lene than Yinlin. Because Lene's providing so many other buffs. This is the thing with these 1.x sub DPSs here. They don't provide anything other than their outro, right? Essentially. There's a couple of different cases. Zheji has energy refund. We'll get into that. But essentially, they don't provide anything else except outro and they're set. Like, other new, like, sub-DPS, they provide buffs through their kit and weapon and all that jazz. So, it's just like, yeah. I think we might have to go with Yinlin right here. She just doesn't have enough teams. And her teams that she does have don't perform that good. Now, Jinshi. Now, I think I want to put Jinshi right here. But I'm not entirely sure. Because we're taking the overall modes, right? We're taking Whimpering Waste. We're taking, you know, the Matrix. And we're taking Tower of Adversity. And I think she just doesn't... She's not there anymore. You know what I'm saying? Overall. But I don't think she's bad. She's just lacking supports. And that's unfortunate. That's bad, you know what I'm saying? It's like nothing you can really do about that. When you have a niche kit like that relies on coordinated attacks, you know, it's just... And they have to be the separate element, too. They couldn't release, like, a Spectro coordinated attacker. Like, I mean, at the time, I get it, because Verena would have made her busted, but, like... Man. I mean, and now it's like, you know, she kind of wants it, right? But, hey, I think B tier is a solid placement for Jinshi. Just under Gian, I think that's a fine placement for Jinshi, not gonna lie. I do think that's a fine placement. She does have Frolova Cantarella in herself, which could bump her up. I'm not sure. I think I want to keep her B tier, not gonna lie. We'll keep her B tier, definitely, but let me know you guys' thoughts in the comments. That's what this is all about, kind of discussing it. You know what I'm saying? My opinion is not objective at all. My opinion is my opinion, and I'm, you know, open to somebody else's opinion. I like to debate, you know what I'm saying? You give me your opinion, I'm going to give my opinion, you know what I'm saying? If I don't agree, I'm going to let you know that I don't agree, but I definitely think that everybody can have their opinion. Now, some opinions can be very, very wrong just from an objective standpoint, but there is subjectivity, right? And now, on to Chang Li. Now, I think I want to put her at the top of A. But I want to say that you can argue her S. But I do think that at the top of A is fine. The reason you can argue her S is because she slots in anywhere if you can play her right. As like a dual DPS. In Mono Fusion, she actually has stood her ground. You know what I'm saying? It's like being an option that can actually be competitive. In the Matrix, she has the buff, so it's kind of like, you know, it is what it is. But she is, like, still the best option there in the Matrix, if not the second best option, barely. You know what I'm saying? And then for the Tower of Adversity speed runs, side tower, she's goated. She's still the top option there. She's the top option in Whimpering Waste due to her AoE. Yeah, she's just flexible anywhere. Because, like, you know, the thing about her and Lupa is really good. They don't take much field time. So, and even Brant too. But, you know, they're such a good core. Now, people hate on her like, you know, oh man, she's not good. She's only good with Lupa. She released with an outro that didn't full buff anybody. And the reason for that is she's waiting for her best in slot. I mean, I'm sorry, Lupa's good, but like, yeah, she's great. Lupa is very meta, definitely. But Chang Li was supposed to be your partner anyways. They're supposed to flow together, right? Obviously, Lupa's providing the majority of buffs by far. It's not even close. But Chang Li doesn't take any field time if you want her to. And then she also does really solid front load damage with the double lib forte. So yeah. And she's also not weapon dependent either, you know, if you want to give some criteria like that. But yeah, I think she deserves a little top of 8 placement. Because I think you could argue her S, but I'm not gonna do that because I know a lot of people who you know, maybe watch my videos do not play like Sweaty at all and do not really. If you don't value versatility, then she's not gonna be there. She's gonna be like, you know, it's just right here. You know what I'm saying? She's not gonna be S if you don't value versatility. But in terms of damage and meta, still very top of the meta. Like, I think there's a huge gap between her and you know, these two, to be honest with you, not gonna lie. But let's go on to the next one, Jeji. Now, I want to put Jeji about right here. And you look. Actually, I don't know. I might throw her up. I don't know. I think she's a C tier, though, if I'm being completely honest. And the problem with Jeji is, for one, I mean, dang, I don't know, bro. She's only providing, like, energy, and then her outro. She's replaced by Lene for, you know, Carlotta. I mean, but at the same time, she still works great with Carlotta, so it's like, you know, Carlotta's a strong single target damage dealer. The thing about Jeji that really drags her down overall is her teams are all single target teams. Like, you have Jinshi, then you have Carlotta, and those are her two teams that it's single target, and herself is single target. She doesn't have enough AoE to be in, like, Whimpering Waste. Her and Yinlin are pretty close. The reason that I'm putting Jeji above her is because Jeji's teammates, you know what I'm saying? I don't think Jinshi's the problem, you know what I'm saying? I think Jeji's the problem. I think she's the one holding the team back. So it's like, that would be why she's below Jinshi. And Jinshi works with Cantarella as well. And like, Jinshi, she's more flexible. Jinshi can dual DPS. Jeji ain't dual DPS and shit. You know what I'm saying? Sorry for my language. But she ain't doing that. She ain't dual DPS and nothing. That's the problem with Jeji and Yinlin compared to Chang Li. Chang Li's a dual DPS archetype where she's like designed to do damage, actual damage, you know what I'm saying? The difference between Jeji, Yinlin, and Chang Li is like 200k, you know what I'm saying? At a baseline. And then, you know, combine that with like the Lib Forte front load, I mean, she just gaps both of them tremendously in damage. But, you know, enough of Jeji. I'm not going to stay on that for too long. I don't want to make this video too long, but I do want to express all my opinions, you know what I'm saying, obviously. Yao, I'm gonna put him right here behind Jinshi. I think with Lene, it's, you know, he's a good Whimpering Waste character, and he's actually a good dual TPS too, like Chang Li. He's like Chang Li, but if she was a dude and Electro. Yeah, I think B is a solid placement. You could argue Yao right here, but I think he's right here, you know what I'm saying? I think he's behind Jinshi, but I do think he's there. I'm not gonna go too much into Yao, but he was a free character. Now, he's not a free character, but he was a free character. And Kuro kind of has treated him like that because Yuno's main DPS does way more damage than Yao's main DPS with the same partners, unfortunately. One's supposed to be a sub DPS, one's a main DPS. That's a problem, but, you know, Yao is a quick swap unit. It's kind of like Chang Li. Chang Li's not no hyper carry, neither is Yao, so, you know. But Shorekeeper, that's an easy S tier. We already know Shorekeeper just works in oh my gosh. Bro, honestly, I didn't even think I was going to glaze Shorekeeper in this video. But man, like, I thought Mornier was going to be the new Gen SK, and man, I was wrong. She's the new Gen for new teams, but like, we just got a unit who uses her. Like, Sigurika, Chuwan, and Shorekeeper is one of the most busted teams I've ever seen in my life. You know what I'm saying? And it's big dude to Shorekeeper. Shorekeeper's crit rate buff allows Sigrika to be about 85% crit rate with a crit damage forecast and a crit damage weapon. And that just, it elevates her ceiling drastically. I mean, straight up, Shorekeeper, man. Just, I thought we were going to see Augusta and Uno be the last, like, important Shorekeeper team. Like, you know, once we got Mornier and Lene. But, man, I was wrong. I was entirely wrong. You know, Shorekeeper fits anywhere. She's easy to play. She's meta at, like, with damage numbers with most, with, you know, a few teams. Augusta Uno. Let me go ahead and name them out for you. Augusta Uno. Sigrika Chiwan. Galbrina Chiwan. Cantarella Frolova. Zani Phoebe Shorekeeper. It's not really, you know what I'm saying? It's not really there. But yeah, really good unit. Let me go ahead and see if I'm, like, missing any, yeah, this is about right. So she's meta in those teams, but she just works anywhere as a third slot, anywhere as the second best option. So it's like, you know, even if you don't care about the top of the top, she's still there. And, you know, she's just everywhere, man. Shorekeeper is undeniably the best aging 1.x unit. Hey, support nature, right? Last unit on the list, we're going to go through this pretty quick. Camellia, I'm putting her behind Yao, I think. Yeah, because she has Whimpering Waist, and, you know, so, like, Jinshi and single target is better than Camellia. Although Jinshi is buffed in the Matrix, so, I mean, I don't know. That actually might be pretty close when played, like, optimally. But, yeah, Camellia is under Rover because, you know, overall, she's just not as versatile. Rover has Frolova teams as well, which just, it just tanks Camellia. But in Whimpering Waist, honestly, I think I could do that. And, like, it's like, is that valid? I don't know. But, you know, yeah, I think that's fine. You know, either one, you could argue either one. This whole, like, these orders here are kind of arguable for the most part. I think Chang-Li's not arguable, though. And I think Shorekeeper is not arguable. But, yeah, the orders, yeah, Chang-Li's not arguable. I think these are very arguable, these three. And then these two, I guess, I don't think it's arguable. I think they're there. They stay there. But yeah, that's going to be the list. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And it's going to be it for me, guys. Alright, so I actually forgot about the standard 5 stars. I'm going to go ahead and rank them real quick. Verena, obviously just behind Shorekeeper. She doesn't have a higher peak in teams than Chang-Li, but the thing is, she has so many teams that she's just such a much better pull and is easier to play. And then we have Encore just behind Jinshi. You could argue her in front of Jinshi if you can play the Mono Fusion team with Lupa and Brant really good. But we're just going to throw her here. Calcharo is just Yao, but a bit worse. Ling Yang is Calcharo, but not any 5-star teammates, pretty much. And then Kent doesn't have the same quick swap peak. Then we have Zhang Shen, who is only really good at S2. Like, if you have her S2, then we could put her maybe right here, right? Maybe there, or right here, just in front of Yinlin. But I'm trying to meet, like, a middle ground where we have her here. But if you have her S0, if we're just doing this as S0 list, then boom, Zhang Shen's at the very, very bottom there. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace out.